Okay, we're just going to take a look at some FRC frog internal hip rotation lift-offs. You want something soft underneath the knees, so here I've just got a yoga mat. If you've got a set of yoga blocks, maybe you've got a set of cushions, otherwise ab mats, just make sure you've got something soft under the knee here. So I'm going to set myself in the frog position, so I make the knees nice and wide depending on the mobility of the adductors. I can be up on the hands, I can be down on the forearms, I can move the hips forward, or I can move the hips back. So different positions are going to make the movement easier or harder, and also affect the range of motion in the lift-offs. So up on the hands is going to be a little bit harder than down on the forearms, and it's going to be slightly easier if I bring the hips forward. So I'll show you in this position first. Now remember, we want to irradiate the body. We're trying to create tension through the whole body, so the only thing that's going to move is going to be this hip. So I'm making fists, squeezing my arms, squeezing my lats, everything's tight. Deep breath in, packing the air down, holding that contraction. And then from here, what I want to try to do is rotate the hip and lift the heel towards the ceiling. I get to the end range and I hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly back down. Create the tension, lock everything again. Only thing moving is the hip. Lift up, end range, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. If I come up into the hands, so same again, screwing the hands into the floor, squeezing the lats, locking everything down, nice and tight. I lift, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. If I sit the hips further back, locking everything down, nice and tight, up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. Slowly come out of that position. Okay, so you can see as I changed positions of the body, it affected the range of motion that I have in that lift-off. Either way, when I'm further forward, I'm going to be able to lift that heel further, but I still want to try to work that end range. So I'm still lifting it as high as I can to get to the end point and hold the isometric contraction at that end range of motion. Up on the hands with the hips back, I'm going to get to that end range of motion much quicker. So the heel's only just coming off the ground. Both variations you can work. You might do a set where you're further forward and you're getting a further range of motion but still working that end range, and you might do a set where you're up on the hands and the hips are back. You're still working the end range, but it's a lot harder to get that heel off the ground. Those isometric contractions in the end range help to build strength, so this improves our mobility and our hip internal rotation.